Beach FM, locals talking to locals.
Welcome to the program, Ned Barraud. Very good evening, good morning, and welcome to you. I don't think I pronounced your name properly after all of that, Ned. I did try so hard. Good morning to you.
No, you nailed it. That was bang on.
Fantastic. Ned is he's in Karori, and he has written this love and illustrated, I imagine, because that's your thing, isn't it, Ned? Illustrated this.
I started off just illustrating,
yeah.
And now I'm writing books also.
Oh, whoopee!
Yeah.
And this is about the southern right whale. It is Tohora. And here I am, Ned, you're in Karori and I'm in Kapiti, and of course Kapiti Island has got this wonderful history in terms of nature conservation, but it has got a very dark part of its history as well, in that it was one of the leading whaling stations at one stage, wasn't it?
It was, yeah, that's right. In fact, the whole of Wellington region was, there was a lot of whales at one stage before they got hunted almost to extinction. Yeah. And
particularly the southern right whale. Now, I'm told it was called the right whale because it was the best one to hunt. It had the most oil. It was the most efficient way of going about the whaling, which may have been right for the whalers, but not so good for the southern right itself.
Well, that's right. It was just so easy to catch because it was very slow moving, and it stuck close to the coastline. And so once it was harpooned, it would just float on the surface. So it was very easy to process and get all that oil out of it.
Yeah.
And it made it very vulnerable.
It certainly did. And in fact, it was on the brink of extinction at one stage, wasn't it?
Yeah, at one stage there was about 40,000 whales around the coastline of Aotearoa, and it got hunted right down to just 100 individuals, which was pretty amazing that it could get so low and then have a comeback, because it did actually come back from the brink of extinction.
Yes.
And now we're starting to see a few of them appearing around the coastline again.
We are. Around the Wellington coastline, no less, which is a wonderful thrill to see. Now, Ned, you've written this and illustrated this beautiful book. Where did the fascination with the southern right whale begin for you?
Well, I've always been really into whales. Ever since I was just a little chap, I was into saving the whales. It's what really got me into conservation. But what sparked the idea was when the whale came into the Wellington harbour July last year.
Yes.
And it caused the whole kerfuffle, and Matariki, the fireworks celebrations had to be cancelled or postponed. And there's crowds of people watching this. I was thinking, wow, people are really fascinated by these creatures. And the more I researched about the species, it just became more and more fascinating to me, and I thought, well, it's actually worth writing a book about it.
And did you start with the illustrations or with the text?
Well, it's a bit of both, actually, yeah, because I'm more of an illustrator than I am a writer. So I prefer drawing, but I was just doing both of them at the same time, really.
It's a bit like music, isn't it? What comes first, the tune or the words? And
exactly,
it depends how you work,
right.
I suppose.
What was that, sorry?
It depends how you work, what works in with your work style. But you have been illustrating particularly children's books for some time, haven't you?
Yeah, for the last 12 years I've been putting out books, one or two a year. And, before that I was working at Weta Digital and also doing freelance illustration. So I've been doing it for a fair while now. What
were you doing at Weta Digital? Was it part of their TV enterprise or not?
I was working on films. Yeah, yes. I was working on The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings and all the rest. Yeah,
great to have that on the CV.
Yeah, that's right. But I've decided that I wanted to focus on doing books full time. So now I'm at home looking after the kids and writing and illustrating books.
And was I right with my original comment there that I bet it takes a lot more than just a day to write a book? There's an enormous amount of effort goes into these things, isn't there?
That's right. Yeah, it takes probably about a year to actually go from conception to actually seeing the book in the shop. Yeah.
So this is the story of
a heck of a lot of work.
A heck of a lot of work. Any estimation of how much? I mean, in terms of hours?
It's really hard to say.
Thousands.
But yeah. It's great to be able to focus on it during the day, because before I was working during the day at Wellington and then coming home and doing all of the illustration at night time.
And being a dad as well.
Which was quite exhausting, but now I can actually focus on it during the day, which is great. Tell
me, Ned, you're just saying that you're walking down the streets in Tohora there and you saw the book in the bookshop. That must make you feel pretty jolly good.
Yeah, well, we've got a great local bookshop called Marsden Books, and they support the local illustrators and authors, and there it was with a whole bunch of other local authors. They have a display of all their recent work, and there it was. So that really felt great. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic. And you've done it in paperback and hardback as well, I believe.
That's right, yeah. I hope you've got a copy there.
No, I haven't. It hasn't arrived yet, unfortunately.
Oh.
We'll give it away to our listener. It'll be a little competition when it arrives. It hasn't quite arrived. So I'm just going with the very few illustrations that I can see, which are beautiful, by the way. Have you got a scientific background? Have you got a scientific background? Yes.
No scientific background, but luckily I've got a lot of people that I can ask about these things. Yeah, I've got a brother who works at Tohora, and he's got great connections with scientists there, so I can really plug them for information.
Oh, it's great because it's got a wonderful authenticity about it. So it is Tohora, the southern right whale, Ned Barraud. And Ned, thank you for joining us this morning. Congratulations on the achievement.
Oh, thank you very much.
Because achievement it is, my friend. It certainly is.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for joining us this morning.
106.3 Beach FM.